Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're reflecting on 5 iconic stars who passed away on this very day, September 14th, across different years. From a Hollywood princess whose mysterious death captivated the world to a director whose film sparked fan backlash, these stars lived lives full of achievements, challenges, and unforgettable moments. Each of them left their mark on history, not just through their talents, but through the controversies, sacrifices, and battles they faced along the way. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to keep their legacies alive. Now let's begin our journey into the lives of these legendary figures. Number 5. Grace Kelly. Born on November 12, 1929, Grace Kelly was the epitome of Hollywood royalty before becoming actual royalty. Rising to stardom in the 1950s, her performances in Rear Window and To Catch a Thief earned her critical acclaim, while her portrayal in The Country Girl won her an Academy Award for Best Actress in 1954. Yet, the world was shocked when she left Hollywood at the peak of her career to marry Prince Rainier III of Monaco. The decision sparked controversy, with many believing she had sacrificed her independence for a life of royal obligation. Grace's rise to fame coincided with one of the most transformative periods in Hollywood history, the golden age of cinema, where the movie industry was thriving with glamour and innovation. Her portrayal of strong, elegant women captivated audiences across the globe, and her collaborations with Alfred Hitchcock, including Dial M for Murder and To Catch a Thief, cemented her as one of the most stylish and talented actresses of her time. Hitchcock once famously remarked that Grace was the epitome of the cool, blonde, sophisticated woman that he adored putting on screen. Famous quote by Grace Kelly: "I would like to be remembered as someone who accomplished useful deeds and who was a kind and loving person." However, her decision to leave behind her Hollywood career for royalty sparked intense public discussion. Hollywood insiders whispered that she was turning her back on a promising acting career, choosing the life of a princess over the independence and freedom of a film star. Yet, Grace was devoted to her family. As close friend Judy Balaban Quine shared, Grace felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, but her love for her children and husband always came first. Tragically, on September 14, 1982, Grace Kelly lost control of her car, reportedly after suffering a stroke, leading to a fatal crash. Her death remains surrounded by speculation. Rumors circulated that her daughter, Princess Stephanie, who was also in the car, may have been driving that day, though these rumors were never confirmed. Grace Kelly remains a symbol of grace, beauty, and sacrifice. Though her life had its controversies, her legacy as both a Hollywood icon and a dedicated princess will never be forgotten. Number 4. Irene Papas. Born on September 3, 1926, Irene Papas was a fierce and fearless actress whose work brought Greek culture to the world stage. Known for her intense performances in films like Zorba the Greek and The Guns of Navarone, Irene was not just an actress, but a powerful voice in the fight for political and artistic freedom. Irene Papas's career began in the early 1950s, during a time when international cinema was on the rise. What made Irene unique was her willingness to dive into roles that challenged societal norms. She wasn't just acting, she was sending a message through her characters. By the 1960s, Irene had earned international fame, particularly with her role in Zorba the Greek, 1964, where she brought depth and strength to her portrayal of a widow who faces the oppressive traditions of Greek society. She became a symbol of resistance for women facing societal injustice. But her role in the film Z, 1969, marked one of the most pivotal moments in her career. Z was a politically charged film that criticized the Greek government's corruption and was subsequently banned in Greece. Irene's involvement in the film made her a controversial figure in her homeland. Despite the risks, she never hesitated to lend her talent to such bold projects. As Irene herself once said, The only thing I know is that acting, when you feel it, it's like a light coming through you. Beyond her iconic roles in cinema, Irene was deeply connected to her roots. She took on many roles in Greek tragedies, including Antigone and Electra, bringing to life the fierce women of ancient Greece who challenged the patriarchal systems. Her dedication to Greek culture didn't go unnoticed, and she became a cultural ambassador for her country. Her nephew, Kostas Papas, spoke about how Irene's bravery went beyond the screen. She wasn't just an actress. She was a warrior of truth who believed in the power of art to change the world. Irene passed away on September 14, 2022, at the age of 96. Her career spanned over 5 decades, and she left behind a legacy of fierce performances that spoke to the injustices of the world. Irene Papas will forever be remembered as a courageous artist who challenged political and societal norms through her work. She embodied resilience and fearlessness, both on screen and off. Number 3. Robert Wise. Born on September 10, 1914, Robert Wise was a director who could do it all, from musicals like West Side Story to horror films like The Haunting. His work earned him multiple Academy Awards and cemented his place in Hollywood history. But not all of his films were met with universal praise. Robert Wise began his career as an editor, working on classics like Citizen Kane (1941), before transitioning to directing. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, Wise directed a string of successful films, including the legendary West Side Story (1961), which won 10 Academy Awards, including Best Director. Wise's ability to masterfully combine music, choreography, and storytelling earned him international acclaim. His work on The Sound of Music was equally celebrated, with the film becoming one of the highest-grossing movies of its time and a cultural touchstone for generations. But Wise wasn't limited to one genre. His 1963 horror film, The Haunting, remains a masterclass in psychological horror. With minimal special effects, Wise relied on atmosphere, sound, and shadows to create tension, showing his versatility as a director. However, one of his most debated films was Star Trek: The Motion Picture, 1979. Despite being a financial success, the film received mixed reactions. Fans were divided, with some criticizing it for being too slow and philosophical, while others came to appreciate its visionary approach. In Wise's words, "The important thing is to do good work, no matter what medium you're in." He was never afraid to take risks, regardless of the genre. Fellow director Martin Scorsese once remarked, "Bob could direct anything, a musical, a sci-fi epic, or even horror, and he'd find the humanity in it." He made films that stayed with you. Robert Wise passed away on September 14, 2005, but his films continue to influence filmmakers today. His ability to seamlessly move between genres, while always maintaining a high standard of storytelling, is what made him one of Hollywood's greatest directors. Number 2. Janet Gaynor. Born on October 6, 1906, was a true pioneer in Hollywood. In 1929, she became the very first actress to win an Academy Award for Best Actress, recognized for her roles in Seventh Heaven, Street Angel, and Sunrise. Her performances helped shape the golden age of Hollywood, bringing a quiet yet powerful emotional depth to the screen. Janet Gaynor's rise to stardom came during the silent film era, when actors had to rely on facial expressions and body language to convey emotion. Her ability to communicate so much without words made her one of the most talented actresses of her generation. When the talkies began to dominate cinema, many silent film stars faded into obscurity, but not Janet. Her transition to sound films was seamless, and she continued to captivate audiences with her performances. In a career that spanned more than 2 decades, Gaynor appeared in more than 50 films. Her most famous quote, "My goal was always to tell the truth in my work, no matter how difficult it was," perfectly summed up her approach to acting. Even after stepping away from Hollywood in the late 1930s to focus on her personal life, she remained one of the most beloved figures in the industry. Despite her success, tragedy struck in 1982 when Janet was involved in a severe car accident, which left her with life-altering injuries. Though she survived the crash, she faced lingering health issues in the following years. Her granddaughter, Susan Gaynor, recalled how even in her final years, my grandmother still carried the same grace and strength that she brought to the screen. Despite stepping away from Hollywood in the 1930s, Janet remained a beloved figure. Her role in shaping Hollywood's golden age, especially her seamless transition from silent films to talkies, paved the way for future actresses. She was more than a pioneer. She was a symbol of adaptability, grace, and endurance. Janet Gaynor passed away on September 14, 1984, at the age of 77. Her contributions to early cinema and her groundbreaking role as the first ever Best Actress Oscar winner cemented her place in history. Her timeless performances remain a source of inspiration for generations of actresses. Number 1. Norm Macdonald. And finally, we come to Norm Macdonald, born on October 17, 1959. Norm was one of comedy's most unique and beloved voices, known for his deadpan humor and fearless approach to controversial topics. He rose to fame on Saturday Night Live, where his sharp wit made him a fan favorite on Weekend Update. Norm was never afraid to push boundaries, and that often led to controversy. His refusal to stop making jokes about O.J. Simpson during SNL famously got him fired, though many believe it only made him more legendary in the comedy world. "Comedy is surprises," he once said, "so if you're intending to make somebody laugh, and they don't laugh, that's funny." His close friend Conan O'Brien said of Norm, "He had this genius for cutting right to the absurdity of life. He was a true original, and his humor was always honest." Norm's longtime battle with cancer, which he kept private for almost a decade, showcased his quiet resilience. Despite the gravity of his illness, he continued to perform, never letting his condition define him publicly. His private battle with cancer came as a shock to many when he passed away on September 14, 2021. Norm once said, "I'm pretty sure there's no actual evidence of evolution, and we all came from monkeys." His humor was offbeat, sharp, and layered with brilliant absurdity. Norm Macdonald's comedy may not have been for everyone, but his unique voice and fearless approach to life have made him one of the most beloved comedians of his time. As we reflect on the lives of Grace Kelly, Irene Papas, Robert Wise, Janet Gaynor, and Norm Macdonald, it's clear that these stars were not just entertainers. They were pioneers, rebels, and creators who shaped the world in more ways than one. Whether they faced controversies, made groundbreaking achievements, or inspired the next generation, their legacies live on. These icons taught us about courage, dedication, and the impact of pursuing one's truth, no matter the cost. Let's remember their brilliance, their strength, and their contributions to the world of film, theater, and comedy. Thank you for joining us in remembering these incredible icons. Please share your thoughts and memories of these stars in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to keep their stories alive. Until next time, take care, and may these legends rest in peace.